Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our Monday Night Raw review. And this Raw was very interesting. I thought it had some great segments, some good segments, and some so bad they were hilarious segments sprinkled all throughout this 3-hour broadcast. So I think the word I'll use is a very interesting Raw, to say the least. Ashton, what'd you think of it?
I honestly, dude, here's my thing. There was some stuff on this Raw that 2 years ago I would have been so pissed off about. I would have ranted and raved, and I just would have just raged against the machine. And I don't know, there's just something about it that it's almost charming that the WWE just kind of keeps on reverting back to same old, and kind of doing what we expect them to do.
Right, it has a comical element to it.
Yeah.
I don't expect anything to happen just because I exhibit disfavor towards it. So
it's one of the advantages of being just a really jaded wrestling fan, I think.
I really think so, because I think you're able to take something that on any other time before you became jaded, you would find to be so horrendous and really outright repulsive, and you're able to look at it through that new lens and really just laugh it off and be like, you know what, for as bad as that was, it could be a million times worse.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I take it, because, I mean, if we're really getting to the extreme, we could say that WWE could be like WCW was before it was on its way out. We wouldn't even, maybe there wouldn't even be a WWE. So I'm always grateful for what we do get that I do enjoy. And the bad stuff, especially when it's bad like this was.
Yeah, I mean, because here's my thing, dude. Like, there's bad like Claire Lynch, a.k.a. Megan Miller, which never actually happened, so I'm never going to bring it up again. And then there's bad like Tonight, and the difference is the other one was like, this is going to ruin people's lives, and this one is like, this is hilarious.
Exactly, because it's just like I said at the beginning, it's so bad, it's so over the top, that it becomes good in that way that, I mean, to use your reference,
No, I want to just correct you here. It doesn't become good. It just becomes entertaining.
Right. So I guess with that said, I mean, we could get right into our first segment, Heat of the Night. And yeah, to continue with that same line of thought, I don't have any heats of the night tonight. There was really nothing that made me so angry that I just had to come on here and be like, I'm going to rage against it. I'm going to show the world why this was such a bad thing. I mean, we've already kind of addressed that in the opener, so I have no heats of the night tonight.
I'll tell you what. I know people are probably coming up here expecting us to have full rosters of Heats of the Night, because apparently this Raw was the worst Raw ever, but I do want to throw one Heat of the Night out there. And of course it's John Cena related, but it doesn't even really have that much to do with the main event segment tonight. That's just a small part of the problem here.
Right.
My first and only Heat of the Night is that John Cena is completely no-selling the beatdown he received from Brock Lesnar. And I don't mean verbally. I don't mean that he's not acknowledging it, because he is. I mean physically. He's showing no signs of wear. He's not taped up anywhere. He doesn't have any bandages anywhere. He was just put through basically 15 to 20 minutes of torture, and he shows up tonight without any signs of any kind of pain. He doesn't wince at all. There's just nothing. And then you look at a guy like Rusev, who is in a match every couple of weeks with Jack Swagger and gets put in the ankle lock, and he's still selling his freaking ankle from Night of Champion or from SummerSlam. He's still limping. It's just one of those things where why can't Cena do what this young gun has been so consistently great at for the last few weeks, if not months?
And not only that, and I do completely agree with you, but Cena should be doing that with the designated alignment of a babyface. Like, I mean, even if he was
And
a
that
heel,
right
beat
there,
down,
dude,
beat
I
down.
wanna cut you off there because I do want to say what you just said. I want to address during our main event segment tonight because I have a theory that if people buy into it, will make this whole angle with Cena and Lesnar so much more enjoyable, and it has worked for me so far. So you'll just have to wait and see what I talk about there in our discussion on the main event segment. But yeah, I do have a theory that makes the entire main event segment significantly more palpable and easier to digest.
Well, I'm not going to poke and prod any further in that respect because I do want to save that for a really nice main event discussion. But if I may take the reins from you about like not selling the beatdown very quickly, what's weird to me, Ashton, is that like I agree with you. It's not even me contending your position because to me it boils down to common sense, certainly. But see, I think Cena has transcended common sense. And that's the thing. Like we say, we expect him to sell the beatdown. I remember when he had his first loss against The Rock. I thought it was awesome because I'm thinking, oh man, it's going to be a pivotal point for Cena. He's going to have clouded judgment. He's going to be so mentally off his game, and you're going to have like people just stepping over him like he's another body on the top, to the top of the mountain. And comes back a month later, and even though he got a brutal beating, not denying that, I mean, he still beat Brock Lesnar and got his head back on straight. So for him to sell this beating, I'm thinking, you know what, anybody else would do that. But John Cena isn't everybody else. And that's what I think people need to realize. I'm not saying that people have to like it. I'm not even saying people have to accept it. But I think you at least have to acknowledge that you can't measure Cena to the same standards as everybody else. I don't even mean that like in a good way and a bad way. It just is. And, I really didn't have the highest expectation that he was going to come and sell the beatdown or do this or do that. Things that would be commonplace to any other aspiring babyface, especially one being groomed for the kind of spot that Cena has held for the past decade. So.
And the crazy thing is, Rusev isn't even a babyface, but he's still selling like a frickin' beast.
Exactly. See, it's like, and I'm being serious about this. Like, I'm not even trying to troll or joke around, but it really proves, I think, in this day and age, there are two classifications of selling. There's the John Cena class, and then there is literally the Dean Ambrose class. Because Dean Ambrose started that stuff with the shoulder where it would carry over week to week, and now you see Rusev doing it with the ankle, and I'm wondering if that's going to become more of a trend, if people are going to look to the guys like Ambrose and maybe eventually the Rusevs, if he does it with enough consistency, and say, you know what, I like how that's done. I think it adds a certain quality to my matches. I think I'll stick with it. Whereas the other, like the Cena class, which I would put like the Sheamuses in and stuff like that, it's like, well, I can take a beating, but I can bounce back the next week. And,
the next week, try the next minute.
Yeah, try the next minute, like walking backstage perfectly normal. Didn't your arm just get relentlessly beat on for 20 minutes? It's just a scrape. So,
'Tis but a flesh wound.
Exactly.
All right. That is all that I really wanted to complain about here. And I would have a lot more to complain about if I didn't have my little fan theory that I'm going with, which, again, I will talk about that when we get to the main event segment.
Right, yeah,
so
I don't want to poke and prod here. So we're going to get right into our next segment, our Monday Night Raw review.
Try again, John.
Our Monday Night Raw review.
No, it's not anymore.
What do you mean?
Well, we have to talk about something else before we
Oh my God, I keep forgetting because, I'm sorry guys, now I know what you mean. Our Friday Night Smackdown, I'd call it a recap, really.
Yeah.
I even forget, like, what happened. The one thing that sticks out in my mind, I know Seth Rollins took on Swagger. Did Eric Rowan have a match one-on-one with the Big Show, or was that another tag match? I know they've been having their rivalry.
Oh, that's a tough question.
Yeah, see, like, this is why I pretty much glossed over it, because, SmackDown, I'm telling you.
Well, no, that's the thing, though, John. What we really need to do is we look back at SmackDown. What happened on SmackDown that affected something that happened on Raw tonight?
I guess, yes, Seth Rollins and Swagger would count, because Swagger lost by countout. Bo came out and trolled him, saying that you failed 318 million Americans, and they need a new American hero. You just need to Bo leave. And then tonight on Raw, Bo pulled the same crap with Swagger after he beat Kofi Kingston, and even before that, after Swagger lost a match to Rusev because it was couldn't continue, and Swagger got a little bit of a comeuppance with his amateur slam on Bo Dallas. So that was what I would consider a carryover. So that was one thing.
One big note to kind of pass along so that everybody is aware: Tom Phillips is now commentating SmackDown.
Yeah, and you know what, guys? I will say this. You know what? I think SmackDown is slowly starting to turn the tide. I thought the commentary was exponentially better with Tom Phillips at the announce desk.
And one more bit of SmackDown news. It has been confirmed. SmackDown is moving to Thursdays as of October.
Yeah. Really interesting that they're going back to Thursday nights. It's been quite a few years since they've had Thursday nights time slot. They will stick with Sci-Fi. Of course, you know our priority on Thursday nights is NXT, and it will continue to do so. But, yeah, SmackDown moving to Thursdays could be good. And you know what? I'm actually interested in what the first show, like the debut show of the move, is going to be, because, you know, it's all about that ratings grab.
Right.
So we could actually see a pretty impressive-looking main event. So I'll keep my eyes peeled for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just really glad that we decided not to continue reviewing SmackDown because, man, that would have been a conflict of interest with that and NXT being on the same night.
Well, it would have been like back-to-back, or in worst case, we would have just had to kind of modify what we're kind of doing now, but that also would have just been ridiculous. I'm really glad the consensus that we came to with this, even though I'm still getting used to it, as you can clearly see, guys. But yeah, those are the big things from Raw, and SmackDown, and I just want to say again that kudos to Tom Phillips, really making it work, and whether it's just him and JBL, or if they're just going to stick with the three of them, JBL, Tom Phillips, and Michael Cole, I think it'll work out nicely. Tom Phillips knows how to bring it back to the match. He knows how to keep focus. I definitely greenlight him. Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. That's about all that was noteworthy from SmackDown. So now you can jump your gun.